Here's a question someone in St. Louis might ask. Who would have the vision or the foresight or maybe just be crazy enough to start a professional translation foreign language company here in St. Louis?
Crazy stuff.
That would
Susanne Evens.
Susanne Evens, who is one of the top 100 people in St. Louis to watch to succeed in business.
What does that mean?
That's a long title, isn't it?
What does that mean? You mean somebody said you're one of the top
100?
100.
Yes, last week she was
watch.
honored. She was honored for that last week.
How nice.
Yes.
Who bestowed that upon you?
St. Louis Small Business Monthly.
Nice. Okay, so you were just telling me off camera that you are from Germany.
Yes.
How long have you been in the United States?
A long time, 24 years.
Okay, so you I hope feel at home because we have Aldi's.
I do. And IKEA, which is not German, but I still feel at home because I grew up with it.
How many languages do you speak, Suzanne?
Well, I studied 5, but fluent German, my native, and then English, Spanish, Italian, French, and Russian.
Wow. And your company, AAA, not AAA.
That's right.
AAA Translation. You within the company 150 languages?
Yes, we do. We handle.
Out of St. Louis.
Yes.
How do you find, like, who wants these interpreters? How do you connect with people who need them?
Lots of large, medium, small companies that want to do international business, from Anheuser-Busch to, the Vatican. We've done it all.
Really? Circus Flora is one of your clients, right?
Why would Circus Flora want that?
They can't understand their elephants. They're from France.
You speak elephant?
We do. We speak horse, actually. They have no more elephants.
Oh, that's right. No more elephants. Yeah.
That's the elephant whisperer.
Flora retired.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
right. Seriously, let's let her answer that question.
In that case, what would they want that for?
Well, their program last year, they were working together with the St. Louis Mosaic Project, which is a big project here in St. Louis. And they wanted their program in a couple languages. So we said, yeah, let's do it. Because I love Circus Flora, avid Circus Flora supporter.
Yes.
They're coming up next month. I think it's June, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm in Germany the whole time.
Now, how do these businesses know you exist?
Well, when I first moved here 24 years ago, I was also like, oh, wow, here I have, I'm a professional translator. I know all this stuff. I want to work in the translation profession. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where did I land? But, I took it as an opportunity. So I started my business 20 years ago, offering German, English, English, German. And it just grew from there. We had some clients that needed, besides German, they asked, can you do other languages? And we're like, as an entrepreneur, you never say no.
Yeah,
you figure it out afterwards how you do it.
That's exactly right.
Would you be able to help me understand what Joy's saying half the time?
We were going to do the whole interview.
It's going to cost you.
It already does. She wanted to do the whole interview in Pig Latin, right?
Pig Latin. See if you could.
It's the only other language she knows.
Well, I have to ask you, because we had a couple of nannies back when we had our children were small that were from Germany, and just from the very same area, they couldn't understand each other because the dialect was so different. So how do you get somebody, if they want German, well, what dialect
what
of German?
Yeah, well, you have to ask a lot of questions to the client. What exactly do you need? What market are you going into? German is easy, but when you talk Spanish, there are so many versions of Spanish.
Really? Spanish is worse?
No,
yeah.
My.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Spanish was the easy one.
Oh, no. So many different South American countries that have different dialects. So you have to ask the client, okay, what market are you trying to sell to?
What is the most difficult language that Americans could learn?
Arabic.
Seriously?
Swahili. Well, Arabic is right to left. So a lot of clients, we turn translations back over to clients and like, oh, the picture's in the wrong place. We're like, no, it's right to left. We have to move it all.
My.
So for brochures and things.
So Swahili really is difficult because you always hear these people would use Swahili as a term to suggest you're never learning. That's like Swahili.
No, it's like Greek to me.
And for me, Russian was the most difficult language to study because it's a whole different alphabet. You have to go through the alphabet, the Cyrillic alphabet.
Yeah.
It's totally different.
That's right.
I can read, but speaking...
Well, I know how to count to 10 in Polish, and I went to Russia, and I could figure out their money just because I could count to 10. But that's all I had going for me.
Yeah.
And then you walk up to somebody, you learn a little bit of French, and you go to France, and you approach somebody, and you say something, and then they start speaking back to you in French, and then you're like, no. That's the only sentence I know.
And then they look at you, American.
Yes.
Do you find using like your iPhone for translation? I mean, do you see people doing that?
For personal use, it's great. I mean, if you want to find out the gist of something, but for...
When does the bus come?
Yeah, exactly.
Où est le château, s'il vous plaît?
Voulez-vous?
The very first sentence
You
in your
started
book.
in 1994.
Yeah.
How large is your company now? Is it a large staff, or does it take just a handful of people to do this?
It takes a handful of people. We have teams worldwide that we work with, depending on the language, depending on the subject matter. So we have about a database of 300 translators that we can tap into at any given day.
That's amazing. So if somebody is in St. Louis and they want to be is there like a part-time or freelance position that they can do?
Yeah.
So are they
Pretty much everyone is freelancer because it always depends on the subject matter.
I mean, that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. I mean, it's not, and it's more cost effective for the clients too. If we had a full-time staff, the overhead, we would all have to charge that to the client.
Okay, now the glorious image is you're flying to foreign countries and standing next to dignitaries and doing translation.
Interpreting.
Interpreting. Excuse me. Is not the same as doing translation.
Exactly. Translation is written, interpreting is verbal.
Oh, okay,
just
good.
text them?
I've learned something today. But what is the reality of it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what really you get to do?
That's what we do. We actually have local clients that take our interpreters with them worldwide because they love them so much. They know their material. Because some of it is very technical, and it takes a while for the interpreter, translator to work themselves into it.
Right.
So they
I know
pay for our interpreters to fly with them, stay with them, do it all.
Wow.
We would have interpreters overseas available, but they rather prefer the ones that they've worked with.
That's wonderful.
Here. Yeah.
Just
That's
like
great.
anybody would rather work with somebody they know. There's so much I want to ask you. I wish we could have you back. When you now having the experience you have, do you look at things like the Bible and say, I don't really think they interpreted these parts correctly, because that's all interpretation too.
It is all interpretation, and the funky part about the whole interpretation, translation, you have to stick to the word, the original word, but you try to make it sound for that country.
Yeah.
So every person can interpret, every interpreter or translator can interpret and does interpret differently.
There's a literal translation, and then there's the meaningful translation.
Exactly.
And this is the first time I've heard funky and Bible in the same conversation. It's kind of nice. Suzanne, congratulations on your award last week, and thanks for joining us today. You can go to AAAtranslation.com to learn more about you.
Yep.
And yes, let's have Suzanne back.
Yeah, really. That's fantastic. And our segment is made possible through the generosity of Nighthawk Security. They're locally owned and locally monitored here in St. Louis since 1974. Home and business security for the St. Louis metro area for over 40 years. Call 846-4600 and ask for Joe.